Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. I want to talk about policy failures. The literal fact of the matter is that I don't really think that these are failures. That you know, people keep trying to convince me to give Biden a chance, and I would so love to be proven wrong, and that suddenly we're gonna everything, the whole image is going to change. But every day I look at the evidence, and I find that what's going on is it's working exactly as intended, and it's not for your benefit. Right now, some of this video is going to go through some stuff I've talked about before. But, policy failures. All right, so now what's going on with the American Rescue Plan? Well, the American Rescue Plan sure includes a lot of security, national security in it, doesn't it? That's, if you want to address national security, okay, well, let's address what's causing the security disruptions. The people that are jobless and hungry and sick and fearful. Those are the threats against us. Illness and poverty and war in countries that we don't belong. These are the threats facing the American people. And so what's happening with the the rescue checks? Because you can't call it a stimulus. It's not going to stimulate the economy. It's barely going to rescue the economy, if it even does that. Lots and lots of people have talked about, how it has been. It started off at $2,000. Do you realize that Trump gave out more money than Biden, the Biden administration has? The $1,200 checks and the $600 checks. Those were under Trump. Those both happened under Trump. The whole, $600 a week for unemployment, that all happened under Trump. What are you getting out of this administration so far? What are they talking about giving you? They've already negotiated from a $2,000 check to a $1,400 check. Then they're talking about negotiating that down to maybe $1,000, and they're making it means tested. And the latest word is that they're making it means tested according to what you made in 2019, before the pandemic. So that's not even going to help the people that had a decent income in 2019 and then lost that income in 2020. It's not going to help. So they're talking about, means testing it to, that's still up in the air. 50,000, 75, whatever. We don't know. We won't know until it is decided for us. So, that's it. I've already talked about how Medicare for all, universal health care was just thrown out the window. But that's not a surprise. This is not a reversal. That's first of all. That's number one. That is not a reversal of a Trump policy. Trump was against Medicare for all. Biden said that even during his campaign, that if it was passed by Congress, that he would veto it. And now he's just, thrown the ACA in there to try and even end the discussion on Medicare for all. It's not going to work, period. And so is Biden reversing any of Trump's policies? Is he actually doing so? He is supporting Guaido in Venezuela. He is continuing and even accelerate, if anything, he reversed on the START treaty with Russia, but there's all kinds of aggression right there. We can get to that. All right, so where was that? Okay. This is something that, this sounds exactly, pretty much like Trump, a different wording than Trump would use. All right, this means a different approach. This is foreign relations. That means a different approach to trade policy. We're not about trying to make the world safe for multinational investment. We're about creating jobs and raising wages here in the United States. All right? Problematic currency practices. He's talking about this is talking about other countries. This is Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor. Problematic currency practices. Wasn't Trump talking about currency manipulation? What do you call the Federal Reserve running a nonstop printing press? So Build Back Better isn't just about economics, it's about national security as well. It's about thinking about national security as national competitiveness. Get down to here about Russia. Hold Russia accountable for the range of malign activities it has undertaken. That includes interfering in America's democracy, continuance of Russiagate. It includes the poisoning of citizens on European soil with chemical weapons. Okay. Three Russian citizens allegedly poisoned with the most deadly nerve agent ever created. All three survived. Meanwhile, over 5,000 cities in the United States have more lead in their water than Flint, Michigan. Over 5,000 cities. You want to talk about poisoning people? Do you really want to talk about that? Yeah, and as far as any addressing, yeah, we will do that at a time and in a manner of our choosing. Does that sound like diplomacy to you? Does it? Does saying that we are not going to withdraw troops from Afghanistan, we're going to increase troop levels in Iraq, we're going to increase troop levels in Syria, does any of this sound like diplomacy? I talked about diplomacy before and what diplomacy means. Diplomacy means two parties or more that have a disagreement, an adversarial view on a specific subject, sitting down and discussing their differences and coming to a mutually agreeable solution. Mutually agreeable. Force, coercion, threat, those have no place in diplomacy. That is not diplomacy. That is war. That is exerting dominance. Exerting dominance is not diplomacy. But this is exactly what the Biden administration has made clear that their view of diplomacy is. So, failure, absolute failure, outright lie. Iran, the JCPOA. He said he was going to reverse Trump's policy regarding Iran. So now he says he is not going to lift sanctions until Iran stops producing uranium or stops processing uranium at all. At all. Even though they're trying to build up nuclear power, they're not enriching uranium to a point where it could ever be used for a nuclear weapon. He is stating the exact same thing that Trump said. It is the exact same policy. The same. U.S. ships are conducting military drills in the South China Sea as we speak. You know when that happened before? Oh, yeah, under Trump. You know when that happened before? Under Obama. Yeah, remember, pivot to Asia? Remember that? Where does diplomacy come in here? What Biden is literally saying, and what Jake Sullivan is actually saying here, is that our country is going to use military and economic and political force. That sounds familiar. Sounds exactly like Hillary. As a means of forcing other countries into trade submission. You know what you call it when other countries, when you only talk to countries that you agree with for trade, to make an agreement to undercut other countries on trade? You call that collusion. Let's go back. Let's go to the definition here. Collusion, definition. Secret agreement or cooperation, especially for an illegal or deceitful purpose. Investopedia, the economic definition of collusion. A non-competitive, secret, and sometimes illegal agreement between rivals which attempts to disrupt the market's equilibrium. The act of collusion involves people or companies which would typically compete against one another, but who conspire to work together to gain an unfair market advantage. You got that? Yes. This is like Survivor. People forming alliances. If you are actually doing something that harms your country, and look at our national defense budget, If you are conspiring with external sources in a way that harms your own country's citizens, and to form a way to wage a form of, economic warfare against other countries, that is conspiracy. That is conspiracy. All these words that were thrown around under Trump, collusion, conspiracy, and all this stuff, you're seeing it take place right now. This is not a reversal of Trump policies. This is not only a continuation of Trump's aggressions. This is an expansion. This is an exponential advance of U.S. aggressions on other countries. And it's not for your benefit. It does not benefit you. Millions of Americans are still in line for food banks. Is any of this helping you? No, it's not. Is this going to give you a job next week? Is it going to, pay your medical bills if you get sick? Is it going to buy your insulin if you're diabetic? This is not helping. This is making things worse. We need to pay attention. All right. I'm cutting this one off here. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. This is not a reversal. Talk about these subjects. These are Trump's policies. And Trump's policies were a continuation of Obama's policies. And Obama's policies were an expansion on George W. Bush's policies. And none of them help you. All right? Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.